Hello, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? Well, I'm not quite there yet. Anyway, it's 8:25 in the morning, West Coast time, Sunday the 12th of October, 2025. The CDC died this weekend. Centers for Disease Control. RFK Jr. with this dead worm in his head had decided a while ago to kill the CDC. So he fired people left and right this Friday. Health and Human Services took a major hit, and the CDC was part of it, and he lost 1,000 people. Basically, any kind of uh, um, functionality about the center that keeps us alive and away from diseases, he just killed. And then there was blowback and feedback towards uh, administration, telling him what the hell's going on. And of course, the administration just decided, okay, no. Some of those firings were wrong. We got to hire some of them back. There's been backlash on social media on this one, blasting like crazy. One of the fired workers was saying that it's over. CDC lost life support, and they're dead. Because RFK still hates vaccinations. I don't get it with this asshole. He's pushing his agenda on people left and right. He's been pushing it for decades. Him being a senator, not having any medical experience at all. And he was out there blathering his head off for years and decades. And now he's in a situation where he's gutting the very same program, the very same division that given by Trump. Because Trump wanted it gutted. So I blamed both of them for this. And meanwhile, my dog is being the tyrant as she is. She's fussing. Too damn dark in the place. We're going to put you on hold for one moment, guys. Sorry about that. In the background, you're going to be hearing my dog whining her head off. I was researching 4 senators in the House of Congress. One's a gynecologist, an OB/GYN specialist. Another one is an eye doctor. We got another one who's an ortho. And I forgot about who was the other. Anyway, we have 4 specialists in their own fields. Why haven't I heard these guys talking their heads off? The ones I'm referring to is Roger Marshall, Bill Cassidy, Rand Paul, and John Barroso. They're all currently in the House of Senate. They're in the Senate. All Republicans. All in red states. But they are in there. The eldest one we've got serving is Barroso. He's ortho. Paul's eye doctor. Cassidy, let me see. Cassidy's a hepatologist. He deals with the liver specialists. Internal medicine, probably. And then Roger Marshall. He's biochemistry. He's the OB/GYN. Okay, so we have specialists in the Senate. How come they didn't go after RFK Jr.? Where's the public outcry? It's been crickets. Crickets. So I don't get it with these guys. I seriously do not get it with these guys. Are they seriously out of their minds? RFK Jr. has been should have been never put into the CDC. But Trump wanted him in there. We already know how brain dead he is anyway. He must love people with worms in their head. RFK Jr. is not going to live it down. I don't know if he's got it or not, but he made the joke, so therefore he's going to live with it. He's going to live with it. And a lot of people are going to be taking full advantage of him and just insulting the living crap out of him. Making fun out of this guy who had been telling people for years vaccines don't work. Now, have you guys been watching my show? My channel? Sorry, I got cord in the way. You know I have a thing against the medical establishment, but I am not pushing you guys against it. I personally have the mental problems with it. Now I'm going to listen to Velshi right now for a few minutes. It's about voting rights, guys. Listen.
Set to hear oral arguments this week in a case that could disenfranchise voters even more than the current Republican redistricting frenzy. The case is just the latest in a series of attacks on the Voting Rights Act, which is known as one of the crown jewels of the civil rights movement. The case, Louisiana versus Calais, challenges a congressional map that Louisiana adopted in 2024 to comply with the Voting Rights Act. That map created two majority black districts. Now, it's hard to see because it looks like one, but it's the big purple thing in the middle. Out of a total of 6 districts in Louisiana. You can see them too. The 2 majority black districts are the 2nd and the 6th district. The previous map had only 1 majority black district, even though Louisiana's black Louisianans make up 1/3 of the state's population. That's the kind of thing the Voting Rights Act was meant to address. So in 2022, a group of 12 black Louisiana voters came together, went to federal court, and argued that having just 1 majority black district violated Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Now, Section 2 is the most powerful remaining provision in the Voting Rights Act because in 2013, in the Supreme Court decision Shelby versus Holder, it swept away the other key provisions of the Voting Rights Act. So Section 2 is essentially the only thing keeping this crucial civil rights law alive. It outlaws election practices that deny or limit voting rights that are based on race. It applies to election practices like racial gerrymandering, ballot access, and voter registration restrictions. Without Section 2, the Voting Rights Act is essentially moot. So, the group of black voters in this lawsuit argued that the congressional map with just 1 majority black district limited their voting power. The new map with 2 majority black districts was meant to fix that, 2 out of 6. But a group of self-described non-African American voters is trying to turn this argument on its head, making their own argument that the new map with 2 majority black districts is essentially violating their civil rights and counts as racial discrimination against non-black voters. They claim the map sorts voters primarily by race in violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, which says that no state shall, quote, deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws, end quote. That essentially guarantees that states will apply laws equally to all people within their jurisdiction. The state of Louisiana and the Trump administration have backed that argument, asking the Supreme Court to declare the 2024 map in Louisiana unconstitutional. If the court rules their way, that would set a precedent, effectively canceling out Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, signaling that states no longer need to comply with the very provision designed to protect minority voters and ensure that American citizens have fair representation. According to a report by Fair Fight Action and the Black Voters Matter Fund, such a ruling could flip up to 19 congressional seats from blue to red. Democratic representatives in Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Mississippi could all have their seats eliminated or consolidated. States like Louisiana, Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, and Florida might retain at least 1 Democratic seat, but their Democratic delegations would shrink dramatically. Congress would also become significantly less diverse. The report warns, quote, if legislators cannot consider race to remedy racial discrimination in voting, the Congressional Black Caucus could lose up to 30% of its members, while the Congressional Hispanic Caucus could lose up to 11% of its members, end quote. Think about that. States can't consider race to remedy racial discrimination. How else would would you remedy racial discrimination without considering race? The stakes are not lost on the group fighting to preserve the Voting Rights Act in Louisiana. They wrote, quote, removing Section 2's protections in Louisiana will not end discrimination there or lead to a race-blind society, but it may well lead to a severe decrease in minority representation at all levels of government in many parts of the country, end quote. After a quick break, I'll talk to the great Reverend Al Sharpton. He's standing by. Don't go anywhere.
Well, that doesn't give us anything to think about and talk about as well, besides having CDC being screwed around with a guy with a dead worm in his head. And now we've got other states going to be screwing around with the Voting Rights Acts that are also going to be making it easier for a one-party rule. Just one party. You guys, it's important for people to keep on top of political points, but also the laws, rules that we have out there that we've been operating on for over 250 years of our country's existence. Reasons why the Civil Rights Acts were fought over in Congress, marched upon to have it enacted. This one race, one ruling class rules them all. That's bullshit. A country like ours was supposed to have been diverse, pluralistic. Not just one. We're not unified. We're not a unity. We're supposed to be diverse. How else did we have our government made the way it was a while ago? And while people fought to have rights for black people, for Indians, for women, for child labor laws, and I hate to say it, diversity. No, scratch that. I am going to say it without hatred on this one. Diversity, equality, inclusiveness. Think of it as a terrestrial Star Trek thing of the United Federation of Planets, except we have Earth. All its many countries. Every one of them diverse. All of them have unique voices, including if they are authoritative and hated by a lot of people, because we have the egos running amok, much like we have countries such as North Korea and China, Russia. Cuba, Venezuela. They don't believe in diversity. They don't want it. They only want their own stupid thinking. They don't want to see plurality. They don't want to see differences. They don't even want to acknowledge differences. They're going to be throwing out texts left and right saying this was against God or one way or another. And then why did we have diversity all over the damn place? It's against God. Well, didn't God create the planet and create life? No, don't do this to me. This makes too much sense. Well, I hope it does. And I hope it screws around with you people in your thinking too. Call it wokeism? I call it your bullshit head at games again. That's what it is. We're supposed to be pluralistic. We're supposed to be diverse. Instead, we're going backwards. We're not making one step forward. We're making several steps backwards. We want to go back to a gentler nation when we had everything perfect and everything beautiful. I'm going to throw up on you. Because you really don't understand it. But it's so ugly and dark. We did these things. Yes. Like every other frickin' country who created itself. Of all the people who wanted their country in one form or another. Guess what, boys and girls? We have it now. And you're going to push it all away? You're going to say that we don't need it? We don't need a diversity. We just have to have one race rules them all, ruled by racists and bigots, fascists. There I mentioned the N-word, Nazism. Germany's tried that in the 1930s. White Aryan races, didn't you realize that shit? If you weren't blonde hair, you weren't blonde, you weren't pale, then you weren't perfect. You weren't of the Aryan race. And therefore they had to capture everybody else who was different. Destroy differences. Over one asshole's lunacy. Got people killed. Almost an entire race destroyed. Because he didn't like them for one damn reason or another. Just like what we're having here in our American government right now. Well, you had the Stephen Millers out there telling us that we have to follow this way because of what he says. Hey, Miller, fuck it. Bite me, asshole. You and your racism, and you came from California? Oh, you're the disgrace, dude. You're the disgrace to Santa Monica. You're the disgrace to Southern California. You're the disgrace to California, period. You are a disgrace. Chew that one up. This is a diverse culture that we have out here in California. You hate it. I love it. I grew up under it. I grew up not to hate it, but to embrace it. Cultural thinking, cultural foods. You go in one particular area to another area and you're exploring a different world. But you want just vanilla. You just want vanilla bean. That's about it. You don't want Neapolitan ice cream. You don't want chocolate chip. You don't want mint and chip. You don't want fudge ripple. You don't want Ben and Stillers. We have diversity. What's wrong with that? Because it scared the shit out of them? Yeah, I saw some of the videos coming through and being posted left and right on Steve Miller. I saw it. Some of those high school crap. And he thinks it's funny. Or maybe his family was the same way. You don't get to be hateful unless you get to be tortured with it all the damn time. And maybe he loved it just like his family. They hate people left and right. And what about the grandparents and the lineage prior to that? Did they also hate people? The same thing we're looking at Trump and everybody else who's following. They hate people. They want one thing, and whatever the hell that damn thing is going on through their head. We can't have protectionism for voting rights. We can't have protection for our freedom to speak our minds, to redress our ills to the government. We can't even go outside a nice agency area, a detention center, without getting peppered by pepper balls. These guys are standing up on a roof and firing at unarmed people and laughing their heads off. Or hooking up kids and telling them, fuck them. And they make a joke about it. They themselves make a joke about it by making musical videos about it, proving that they are worthy. It's like watching the Nazi propaganda back in the 1930s. You guys are sick to my stomach. And you complained about Department of Justice being weaponized. You have already weaponized it. So yes, boys and girls, we are in an authoritative state. We are in a regime. We no longer have an active Congress that gives a shit. We have Trumplicants. There's supposed to be Republicans in there, but they're all Trumplicants. They all follow his thinking and his pattern. They're all afraid. They're cowards. Including the ones I got out here in Kern County, California. You're a coward too. Including the rest of the people out here in Roseman, California, who actually believe in Donald Trump and the Trumplicans. You're cowards. All of you. But I'm not going anywhere, assholes. You're stuck with me out here. What are you going to do, and what are you going to say about that one? That being said.